I'm in the best shape of my life. You have two options in life. You know, you could be a victim or you could be a victor. Life is a basically accumulation of decisions that we all have to make.
It's choices.
I'm going to use this difficulty in my life to upgrade myself. And so I did it with the health, and that's when I found out about the salt. So I went from like literally nobody to being in right now 41 stores as of today. You know,
that's awesome, bro.
It's been about 10 weeks so far. Because at the end of the day, like, people want not what's cheap, they want what's valuable. You know, quality. Oh, so if you guys have clients low blood pressure, get Cell Salt. If they have too high blood pressure, switch them over to Cell Salt.
There it is.
What's up, everyone? Welcome, MarVic Productions, episode 19.
Let's go.
Feeling good, feeling energized. We just had some oranges. We did a little taste test. We've got
salty.
Feeling salty.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Salt Bay.
Yeah, not Salt Bay. Salt Bay.
My taste buds right now, they're on point.
Yeah, they're growing. It's good energy.
Yes, sir.
Man, we've got a guest that we had on 5 months ago? I think you said like December.
I believe you were our second guest on the podcast.
Yeah,
when we originally started. Yeah, it was episode 2, and you know, like we said on episode 2, we're gonna run it back, and sure enough, we're here today. We're running it back, and today we're talking about different products that Brian, what he said before 6 months ago, I believe that was, and now, you know, we're here.
Yeah, I want to say it was like October. So
was it November?
7 months ago. Either in October or November.
I think it was like late November, because I believe we did Raul in November.
Yeah,
or it might have been October. I forgot.
Dan, you're a second guest, and fast forward episode 19 back.
Mm-hmm. Hey, congratulations to you guys, man. Episode 19.
Yeah,
you guys been having all kinds of speakers.
We're still here, right?
Backgrounds. Yeah.
Hey,
we're still in business.
We're still here.
Yeah, we're still here. We're still in
2024.
The
We
lights are still on. The batteries are still working. So
new studio.
Yeah, and honestly, man, you know, we just want to give game to you guys. You know, the people that have subscribed, which right now we're like at 206 subscribers on YouTube, and trust me, I mean this by my heart. Thank you to everybody that has subscribed. It means a lot to me. And we just want to give you guys game, you know, if you guys really tune into us. And I feel like Brian is that person that's going to bring us that wisdom, obviously being in the financial service field before and transitioning now to a whole different business that he's, you know, doing good for himself now. I believe you hit a milestone of 1,000 sales in one day. Congrats on that.
Yeah, $1,000 in sales in one day.
Yeah, that's big. Congrats on that.
Bro.
And, yeah, you know, we want to pick his brain and give him that platform as well where he could share that game to y'all.
Yeah, and you know, you said congrats to us, thank you to us. I want to extend that to you as well.
Right.
Seriously. You're doing an amazing job. I mean, it's really cool to see episode 2. If you guys haven't seen episode 2, by the way, I think it'd be good to watch that one first and just see how we've all, you know, grown and developed. But him in particular, he came on and he shared a little bit about his vision and just what he had planned. Fast forward, he's got the product here. He's already in business. He's got a cool announcement too that we'll get into a little bit later. Right. But he's got his shirts and, you know, salts over here. Where's the bag actually?
Right here. Right between you guys.
There it is.
Right here.
I was like, where'd it go?
Oh, right there. The camera's
so,
right there.
You know, congrats to you, brother. I mean, I did a little reel myself, and I'm genuinely, you know, proud of you. And I think it's really great to see, you know, just a man of God, just another brother, a Latino, you know, whatever we want to put there. It's just you're doing your thing. You're going after it, and
yeah. What I'm saying is just winning. You know, winning in the right way, in the right fashion. You know, with the right morals and being that example as well. So definitely, man, it's a pleasure to have you on here again.
Y'all make me sound like Jesus over here, but thank you guys. I appreciate you guys 100%. And it was October 22nd, actually, the first, that's like the episode. The podcast. Yeah.
There it is. October 22nd. My days were off.
Yeah. So what's that? It's almost 7 months.
7 months now. 7 months almost.
We're still here, guys. We're standing strong. Look, we actually got new.
Shout out to Albert.
Yeah, whatever you call
Mr. Lau. We
appreciate y'all.
Yeah. I don't know the technical name for these, but hey, MarVic Productions. If you guys haven't seen
and thank you, Mr. Lau, for believing in us as well. And
Mr. Lau. Mr. Lau, we love you, bro.
Much love and respect. But let's get into it, man. How you doing, bro? First of all.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Right,
Jesus Christ.
Wouldn't be here without him for sure. And I've been awesome, man. I've been awesome.
Right.
You look great, bro.
Yeah, I was just about to comment on that, like your physique and everything.
No Diddy.
If we compare it from
no Diddy.
7 months ago. Like if we look at episode 2, now we look at him today, you're gonna see the difference as well in his
look at me
in his
too.
body.
I look a little different too.
Yeah, me too.
Just saying.
You guys look
But-
better too. You guys-
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
But yeah, nah, man.
You look
Obviously,
lean, man.
like you've been on a mission these
Yeah.
past 7 months.
Yeah,
and
thanks. I think from October, I'm probably down like another like 12, 15 pounds. Basically, I've
Nice.
leaned down,
yeah.
gained more muscle.
It's
and
the salt,
so,
huh?
And the salt. So if you
Well, I was
guys
about
want
to
to get buff, get some salt.
right.
I was about to say, what's the secret?
If you want to get a 6-pack, get on some salt.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
The
man.
real supplement.
Obviously, when we had you on episode 2 7 months ago, you were kind of filling us in on the vision. And what I kind of wanted to know was like, how did this idea of salt come into place? You know, like
Right.
obviously for our viewers and for the people that haven't seen episode 2, you know, in October you were leaving the financial field, the financial services industry.
Right.
And for most people at that point, you know, they don't know what to do, or they just feel like maybe their career is over and they have to restart. But for you, you actually, you know, grabbed the bulls by the horn and you're like, look, I did great here, but it's time to move on.
Right.
You know, so like, where did this idea come from?
Got you. Yeah. So, so I did financial services for 12 years. You know, I was a broker and ran 300 agents, and you know, events happened last year that it just forced me to go a different direction, and I pretty much sold my share of the company off. You know, of what I was involved with, and I made that decision once this opportunity came across, basically. So, you know, the way I got into it was basically, I'm a father of 4, as you guys know, right? Last episode, I think my son was about to be born.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yes.
So now he's 6 months old right now.
Beautiful, bro.
And father of 4. And, you know, one thing is, as I started to become successful over time, right, I started becoming more, I think like everybody, right, more aware of what's in our food, what's not in our food, what's healthier for you. You know, I was 200 pounds all of my 20s, you know, so to be at about 159 right now feels amazing, you know, down about 40, 45 pounds basically. You know?
Good for
So,
you, dude.
Yeah, you
Good
look
for you.
healthier, you look happier. Yeah, you look different.
Yeah, thank you, man. I feel a lot better. I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life, you know, and I have 4 kids, right? So I need to have energy for them. I need to be able to throw them in the air, pick them up, you know, do homework
Run
with them, you know,
around,
go take them to the park. You know, I don't want to be, you know, rich and then I can't even go run with my kids. You know, my son, when he's 18, I want to be out sprinting his ass, you know?
Yeah.
So
That's big. I mean, it's the whole
health is wealth, you know.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's real.
I've heard it from, you know, I used to have a mentor at my previous company. He's an OG. You know, he's probably in his 60s currently, and he's a multimillionaire.
nice.
And that's one thing I took away from him, where he is he's Jewish, and it's very interesting how in the Jewish culture they pay attention to food and diet a lot.
What they eat.
Right.
There's certain things they can't eat, and it's got to be cooked a certain way, or the animal has to be killed a certain
be
way.
kosher.
Exactly. So that's one thing I always took from him is like, hey man, like no matter, you just said it, right? We all just said it, the health is wealth thing, but you could have all the money, but dude, if you end up like getting paralyzed or amputated because of diabetes and us working in the life insurance field, you know, even though you're not there anymore, but I'm sure you remember, like we would come across different cases and it'd be really sad to see young people.
I want to touch on that actually.
Go ahead.
So, you know, I started in the insurance industry about 2012, right? So about 12 years ago now. And I remember when I started selling life insurance, you know, with life insurance, one of the big things is qualifying for it, right? You have to be healthy enough to purchase it and get approved.
Correct.
And so I would say back then, maybe 2 out of 10 people had bad health as far as adults. Like 2 out of 10 that were applying, maybe 1 or 2 would get declined, right? Out of 10. And as time progressed, these last 12 years, it's gotten worse and worse and worse. I want to say my last year in life insurance, it was probably before, I would say in the 30s, maybe 1 out of 10 people had like health issues, like in there, like really health issues where they wouldn't qualify. My last year, I could easily say 4 out of 10 people in their 30s had health issues.
It doubled.
Yeah, doubled. and a lot of people were not qualifying anymore. It was like probably from 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10 not qualifying to like 4 out of 10 not qualifying.
Yeah,
It's
and
pretty sad.
what's crazy about
Scary.
that is that all they have to do is just make a switch to their diet, and it really all just starts with salt, what you consume,
right? What you eat at home, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
The basics.
Yeah.
So so going back to how I got into it, so I was buying basically everything organic for my kids. You know, as you guys know, there's a lot of autism out there nowadays. There's a lot of developmental issues, and people say they don't know where it comes from. Either it's from the food or it's from the air or it's from wherever. I believe obviously what you eat is a big part of what your health is.
Big variable.
So I started buying a lot of everything organic. And as I was going through my journey last year, April, I discovered Celtic sea salt. So I was watching a video on TikTok, and I seen this doctor talking about how if you are drinking water by itself, you're not even hydrating your body, because today's water is stripped of all the minerals. It's purified, right? So it has no mineral content. And so that water that you're drinking, because it has no minerals, it's just literally going through your body, leaving your body, and you're not hydrating.
Yeah.
And that made a lot of sense, because when I was selling life insurance, I would drink 4 bottles of water on an appointment, and I would still be thirsty.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be like, why is my thirst not getting quenched? Because I wasn't putting salt in my water.
Right.
You know?
And if I could add on to that, because what's funny about this, and we had a moment, I don't know if you remember, but I genuinely was into, and I still am into salt too.
Yeah.
So when you brought this product into the market, I was like, this is freaking wild, because I don't know if you remember, but I tried to buy some Celtic sea salt and I couldn't get it. I think you said you drove to San Diego or something to get it or something like that.
I'll get into that story.
You'll get into that. But the science behind that is, that's correct. Like the salt helps the body retain. Exactly. It attaches to the water. It helps stick to your body, which is another reason of why we actually pee a lot of that water. We're really not supposed to. I mean, we'll pee some of it out that we don't need, but that's exactly what salt does. It helps you. I'm saying salt, but then that's what it is. It helps you keep it.
Yeah, retain it.
Exactly.
It's a major hack.
Yeah, if you don't have enough sodium, you're not hydrating yourself. Not even your brain too. Like if you add it, if you don't drink enough salt with your water or in general in your diet, even your organs are not getting properly hydrated.
So they're being dehydrated, exactly. And that's where you get like strokes from that.
Yeah, you can get low blood pressure too. Actually, this is crazy. I'm about to post this tomorrow or the next couple of days, but one of my daughter's friends from school, her parents they're friends of mine, right? And the wife was actually going through health issues recently. Like she's been hospitalized over the last couple of years, and her blood pressure just really went really low to like 85, which is really low. She was feeling like crap all the time, and they knew I was doing the business salt or started the brand, and she started taking it. So she started taking it about 20 days ago, and she checked her blood pressure levels, and they're normal now.
Wow.
So like just by adding salt, a lot of salt to her water.
Yeah. Well, and adding quality salt too.
Salt.
Yeah, because so not to go off on a tangent, it's tied in, but I've got a good buddy. I was down I think we were in Cancun for a wedding, and I ran into like a almost a bodybuilder. And I was curious I say almost because he wasn't like the real deal, but he
was a little juiced.
No, actually, no, I don't know. I won't comment on that, actually. I'll refrain from any comments. But he was big, and he's strong, and again, he's rich, so I know he knows a lot about supplements and all this stuff. So I asked him, I remember we were like by the pool, and I was like, he has a very unique trainer, where this trainer is intense, where he's like, this guy, he was telling me his trainer like won't even take you if you don't fully commit to his regime. He won't take you, because if you end up not doing what he tells you to do, it's gonna make you look bad, which makes him look bad.
Right.
So the point is that this guy ends up telling him, surprisingly, and I can't forget the convo because I was shocked. I was like, "What's one thing you've learned from your trainer?" He says, "I'll tell you." He said his trainer believes that in America we don't consume enough salt.
Oh.
And I was like, that can't be true. Like, but we got into it a little bit deeper, and it's the quality of salt. Because fast food, best believe there's so much freaking sodium and all of it, but it's not good salt.
Correct.
So also to make that distinction, like, yeah, table salt and all that is good, but the Celtic, in particular, again, your brand salt, like, that is a finer quality that's going to go a long way, and it's going to feed your body really what it needs.
100%. And that's the thing, like, we don't know, right? Like, until a year ago, I didn't know there was different salts. Like, I knew there was pink Himalayan, but I never cared to buy any. I always bought the regular Morton sea salt, or I bought the regular sea salt because I thought that was like healthier,
And you know what I love about this, man, and I'm probably gonna go on a tangent here, is that like is that friend white? Is he Caucasian?
Which one? The guy,
the trainer?
Yes, both of them.
So it's crazy to me how culture-wise, they know that. They're aware of that. but we don't got people like us in our community that are teaching us and putting us up on game on that.
Correct.
So I love the fact that when you started this here, because what you're really bringing is that health education. You know how we were doing financial education?
Right.
Now you're doing like a health education for the people, and you're that voice, you know, for the Latino community and our local community, where like I'm sure a lot of people, and I'm sure you've gotten this, they're probably like, what's so special about this salt?
Right.
Because they don't really know the benefits of it. So I like the education as well that you're providing, and I believe in your business card, or in your one of your cards,
showcase card.
Yeah, your showcase card. You have in the back the benefits of this salt.
Exactly.
And you know, you and I, when we went to the Sprouts in Cudahy, what do you remember? What Brian told you?
Yeah.
What did he say?
We said that everybody's asking for this salt.
Everybody's asking for this salt, but nobody is supplying it.
Correct.
And here we are.
Yeah,
and to bring that to the hood, you know, like where people are.
Cudahy Sprouts, we coming soon.
Sprouts, shout out.
It's not a gimmick. It's not like something, and I'm sure you can go more into that since it's your story. But I'm sure you didn't look at this as like, this is a great cash cow. Like there's, like you said, your background of the story is you learning about health, and there's a real movement here and with purpose. So, you know what else you're doing? You're helping more people qualify for life insurance.
Exactly.
Thank you,
helping
brother.
out the life insurance
Appreciate
industry.
that.
You guys are welcome. Don't be mad at me for leaving. All right, you should be happy. I'm helping your people.
Right. He's getting
blood pressures are back to normal.
Oh, so if you guys have clients low blood pressure, get Cell Salt. If they have too high blood pressure, switch them over to Cell Salt.
There it is. Solutions. And that's what business is all about, right? Finding solutions to problems.
Yeah, exactly, man.
There it is.
And
so
health is a problem that's never going to go away.
Exactly. Yeah. And life insurance either. People need it. So, bro, you said it in April you watched this video.
Yeah, so April I started watching this video, and that's when I was starting my fitness. I wanted to change my whole lifestyle. I was 206 pounds. I was going through a lot of turmoil, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to use my difficulty and my freaking trial, this freaking hell I'm gonna go through, and I'm gonna use this to turn myself into a better version of myself. So
good for you.
I wasn't gonna just be all depressed and like eat a bunch of food and just
fat.
be feeling sorry for myself. I was like, what?
Unfortunately, people tend to do.
Yeah, no, a lot
and
of people
they play the victim game of why me, or
correct.
Can you believe this happened to me?
Correct. Yeah, man. It's you have two options in life. You could be a victim or you could be a victor. You gotta make that.
Hey,
what's your name again?
Victorious.
You know what I'm saying?
What was that? What I said in Vegas?
Oh, you want to talk about that,
bro? So we were interviewing a boxer, and I kind of said something like that, where it's like, but
I got you. Want me to say it? I know what it is. It's really funny. It's a funny moment, but we did the whole thing with Jamel Herring. Shout out Jamel.
Shout out Semper Fi.
We know you won.
Yeah.
But in there he says, because Victor's the man of sayings, he always, what that reminds me of? He's always got something. He's got a quote from a book, right?
I was reading.
He's always reading, right? So he says, you know what it reminded me of? There's a saying that says, you're either gonna be a triumph, and I think when he meant is triumphant, or your life is either gonna be a triumph or it's gonna be
a tragedy.
A tragedy is what he meant to say, but he said trumpet. No. So actually, it's backwards.
You see, that's why I gotta say.
No, fine, go ahead.
So look, I said, look, man, either you got a choice, right? And the choice is either your life is gonna be a tragedy.
Okay.
Like you make that choice, right? If you want to play victim, people are gonna be like, man, what a tragedy! Like that dude was doing so good and he let up. Or what I meant to say is triumphant.
Yeah, but he said trumpet.
I said trumpet.
And what's funny is that
he's a Trump fan. That's why he said Trump.
Shout out Donald Trump. You're gonna win that case too.
So when we edited the reel, because of the AI for the caption, it brought an emoji of a trumpet.
I see.
So we couldn't post that reel. I was like, nah, man.
We fixed it. We fixed it.
Okay.
LAUSD education.
Oh yeah, but it's true. At the end, like life is basically accumulation of decisions that we all have to make.
It's choices.
Yeah, choices that we all have to make, that no matter where you're going, it's like you always have an option. You can make an option that's going to lead you this way to the left or this way to the right.
Right.
Neither one is easier. They both have a lot of difficulties involved, but it's just what's going to be the end result, basically.
Right.
And so that's what I chose. I was like, all right, I'm going to use this difficulty in my life to upgrade myself. And so I did it with the health, and that's when I found out about the salt. And here's a funny story. So I was like, okay, I want to buy this salt. Like, I'm sold out. I want to buy Celtic sea salt. I'm going to switch out my salt for that. And I was looking, and none of the stores had it, like Ralph's. I shop at like Ralph's or like Sprouts, etc. Right?
Gotcha.
Just regular stores. And they didn't have it. So I was like, okay, where do they have it? And then I Googled it, and this other company had it that I never been to, this other store, like an organic market.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, let me go buy some. And they were like, pretty much
Sold out.
They're sold out. They're like, we don't have any more. And people come ask for this every day. And I was like, damn. So I had to buy some online, and I had to wait like a week for it to come. And I think I bought it for like $25.
The navy blue bag?
The navy blue bag. It's the other company out there. It's like Pepsi and Coke, you know.
Yeah,
that's what it
company
is.
we're about to take out.
Yeah. They're gonna go down. We can go up.
You might buy them out.
So I couldn't find it. I bought it online, and then I was like, you know what? Damn, this is crazy. Like, people are looking for this salt, but they can't find it. And so
you saw the demand.
I saw there was a huge demand for it. Supply was non-existent, right? So I was like, dang. And so I seen people were reselling it online, like on eBay, on Amazon, for like $40 a bag of salt.
Yeah.
Even $50, $60. I seen it go up to like $75 for one bag of salt.
Damn.
And I was like, you know what? Let me flip this myself, you know? So I called a bunch of places, and where they actually had it in stock was all the way in San Diego. This grocery store called Jimbo's. Shout out to Jimbo's.
Shout out Jim and Bo.
And so I drove like an hour and a half down to San Diego. I bought like probably 30 the first time. So I bought them, took them home, put them online. I put them online to sell them, and I sold those 30 within a week.
Dang.
Right? And then I was like, whoa, I'm gonna need more salt. So I went back down to Jimbo's. I got more. I ended up buying like 100.
So you did some trial runs first.
Yeah. I started selling it. So
if you don't mind me asking, how much was Jimbo selling it to you, and how much were you flipping it for originally?
I was probably getting it for like each bag is different, the size and the price and all that. But I would say I was getting between like $7 to $14 per item, and I was reselling it for like $40 to $60.
So like 4 to 6 times.
Yeah, I think it was like 7 times. Yeah, the price. And so I was like, whoa, this is pretty easy money. And so that's when I didn't know nothing about e-commerce. You know, I did nothing but life insurance and investments for 12 years. Right. I had the blinders on. And I started like researching about e-commerce, started researching about how to print a label out, and the shipping and posting it, taking pictures of the product.
Any videos you watched on YouTube on how to like do all that? or any trial and errors that you went through in that process while you're learning? Yeah,
while I was learning. So I there was a lot. There's a lot to it, right?
Shipments got lost.
Oh man, yeah. So what I learned a lot through the process, right? So one thing I learned is that there's a lot of ways to sell online. You know, you have Amazon, you have Walmart.com, you have eBay, which most people don't even know about eBay, like millennials or like Gen Zs don't, but you know, we know about eBay. Just buy stuff on there.
Craigslist.
eBay is popular. Etsy. So there's all these online stores. You could post your item and people are going to buy it. And what I liked about it is while I'm sleeping, people are buying the salt. While I'm awake, people are buying it. I was like, cool. So I would wake up every day and I had like 10 orders, 20 orders, 30 orders. And so at that point, it was just me and my 4 kids. I had full custody of my kids. So I had my kids with me all day. So it was perfect because I could be home.
Right.
I could be home working, packing my labels and packing my packages. And it would take me about maybe 2 hours of work to package my 20, 30 bags. And then from there, go drop it off at the post office. And that was my work for the day.
So and you made money. And you got to spend time with the kids.
Exactly.
I want to make a comment. It's very... I got to say that's not the story I expected. Because I think we both wondered. Maybe you knew. I don't think you knew either, though, right? No. This story.
Yeah.
I wondered because, again, obviously we saw you episode 2, the idea, and then we see you launch. It's like, oh shit, it's going down, right? Like now you got the product, you got your shirts. This is cool. You got your marketing, your brand. So of course I was wondering like what happened, and then I was wondering like does he have business partners and stuff like that? But hearing your story, it's the comment I'd like to make is one of. Correct me if I'm wrong, but and I'm sure there's more to it, but it sounds like you kept it simple, where you had an idea, you saw the demand, you saw like, okay, there's a high demand.
He was a client first.
He was a client first, and he sees the opportunity, and then you just made moves. Like, I mean, I guess let me ask you, because, and here's where I'm going with this. Like, a lot of us, including myself, we have ideas like this all the time, where we see, oh, damn, this could be. How many times have I told myself this could be the next something? You never know.
Yeah, we get a lot of ideas.
We get a lot of ideas, but like I'm curious for you, Brian. Like, was there a lot of overthinking, or was it as simple as you're making it sound? Like, you know what? You made your calls. You found the store in San Diego. You're like, you went there, you did your thing, and Was it that easy for you, or did you?
So that person I am, right? It's kind of like with Primerica, right? Like I just shoot for it, right?
Nice.
And so
nice.
with this, I just saw it as I didn't have anything to lose. You know, I was still gonna. In my mind, this was just a side hustle. I was gonna continue to do financial advising, financial services,
have some money coming
extra
in.
income. Yeah,
and you had a personal interest too because of your health.
Yeah.
Right.
So what happened at the end was once I realized that there's a demand for it, and I think those first 2 months just reselling it, I want to say I made like 12 to 15 grand just reselling it.
Damn.
And which is, you know,
so
decent amount of money.
More than some brokers.
Yeah. Oh shoot. Yeah. And so at that point, I was like, so I just planned on continuing to scale. I planned to continue, and I was actually trying to be a wholesaler with that other company, but they were no longer taking on wholesalers.
Why is that?
So their supply was low. And I kept buying, and then what ended up leading me to actually doing it starting my own company is that I was reselling it. I was at one point I was buying like 200 or 300 bags at one time from the store. Like I would take a truck from
Jimbo.
Yeah, from Jimbo. I'll be
You're
taking
the number one client.
I'll be taking home a Jeep full of freaking boxes of salt.
Crazy.
People are like, "What are you doing with the salt?" I was like, "Oh, I sell them to restaurants." You know, I didn't want them to know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Now you guys know.
It's not really salt that's in there though, right? You want to tell them what it really is?
Cocaine. That white, pushing that white.
It's
that
purified.
white.
And what happened was basically they ran out of stock. So Jimbo's and all these stores started telling me, we're not going to have it till next year. It was barely October. It was around the time I was talking to you guys. They were out. And I was like, what? Because I had already left the insurance industry. I was like, I'm gonna do this as a career.
You're all hyped for
this.
this.
Yeah, I was hyped up, and then boom. So this is leading into, did I have any troubles? You know. So yeah, literally they were out of salt everywhere. Like I would literally, all the stores, they know me. Like all the spots I would go to pick up salt, the distributors, they knew me, and they're like, yeah, we're not gonna have it till December. We're not gonna have it till January.
Hey,
and I was like,
you went from the life insurance. Here comes a life insurance guy. Here comes a salt guy.
Yeah, here comes the salt guy. Yeah, and literally that's what they started saying. It's a salt man right there.
Salt Bay.
And so they were out, man, and I was like, damn, what am I gonna do? And so I was having a convo one time with my little brother, and I'm just like, wait, what if I just make my own salt company? Like, what if I just, instead of keep buying from them, I figure out how to make my own brand.
Cut out the middleman.
Make my own company, and pretty much fill that gap between the demand and the supply, because there's a big gap right there. And so that's when I started looking into the branding and all that, as far as my colors, as far as researching. So, I mean, there's a lot of difficulty. I'll give you an example. This salt comes from France.
That's where I'm like, my head is at. Well, how did you...
Yeah.
If they struggled getting it, how did you solve that? And I don't know how much you can share. Obviously, this is, but whatever you're comfortable sharing.
Yeah, so basically, guys, I had to learn French to like be able to find the people that made this salt.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So
I was on Duolingo for like literally weeks on end, just learning French, because the where they make the salt, it's not in Paris where it's the tourist area. It's like literally on the west coast, rural France, where these farmers are at, that they've been cultivating this salt for generations. So these guys are like genuine old school French. They don't speak English much, you know. And so I started learning it, and I started calling on different places, and I was able to get samples from France over to test the quality, to look at the quality. I looked at the lab testing that they did on their salt to make sure it's free from any chemicals, lead, etc.
It's quality.
Yeah,
Quality salt. Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, people want not what's cheap, they want what's valuable, you know. Quality over anything else, you know. Right. So that's why I ended up getting hooked up with the great but a manufacturer of the salt, basically.
You didn't have to go to France?
No, not yet.
I'm
planning to. Yeah,
that'd be sick, bro.
Hey, invite us. We'll take
I'm planning
to. We'll do a podcast out there, bro.
Yeah, and as far as difficulty, there was more challenges, like just shipping the salt over here. You have to get it here by boat.
And that takes time.
It takes 2 months, and my original shipment took like 3 months to get here. So that was like a bunch of delays. At that time,
did you still have the other salt that you were flipping, or at that point?
At that point, it had stopped because they were out. Yeah, they were out of supply. So I was literally like running on E, basically, you know. And again, I could have gone back to the financial industry, right? Because I could have gone back,
or just given up and done something else. But I said, like, I'm really sold out on this vision. I sold out on what I want to do here. Like, if I got to eat shit for a few months, it is what it is.
To make my vision come to the reality, then I will, you know. And thankfully, I stayed faithful. I did a lot of praying. I did a ton of praying, and eventually it came and it's here. And now a few months later, man, it's been going great.
That's good. Yeah, 1,000 sales in one day.
Yeah, so far, so far we're
and now you're everywhere too. You're in Arizona.
Yeah, I want to say we're in 21 states or 22 states already so far. And by that, I don't mean I've shipped to those customers, right? Because I've gotten customers probably from all 50 states roughly. But I have stores that are buying the salt from me and putting it into their stores on their shelves. Yeah, that's sick. So there's like I want to say about 25 states.
Man, right now. Imagine. I'm just thinking right now. Like imagine like going to Mexico and seeing your salt there. Oh, I know. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. Maybe like in the rich parts for sure.
Right. Yeah. Hell yeah.
And yeah, so I went from like literally nobody to being in right now 41 stores as of today. You know,
that's awesome, bro.
It's been about 10 weeks so far, 9-10 weeks.
That's got to be sick. Like, cause I know there's a difference in the individual purchasing from, you know, the maybe just an individual or a household, but to those consistent purchases from restaurants or whatever, grocery stores.
Yeah,
I'm sure they all a win is a win, but I'm sure those feel that's got
amazing,
right? Because that's going to be consistent long term.
Yeah, no, and it's crazy because you mentioned that because I've already had a few stores, like probably at least 12 or 15 that have already reordered, so they've placed a second order of salt.
Nice.
And I have a few that are already on their third order. So
nice. Beautiful.
It's moving.
It's working.
Moving. Exactly.
It's doing what it's supposed to do.
And this is the crazy part. So you guys, recently I got into this one meat market. It's called The Butchery. Shout out to you guys in Orange County. And they already carried the other salt.
Oh.
They already carried it. So
you replaced it.
The original brand.
Oh, got it.
Selena's naturally. The dark blue bag. So I was like, hey, like, and that was my low-key fear coming into it. I was like, damn, I wanted to avoid places that already had it because then, I didn't know how we would do competing with them.
Yeah.
But sure enough, they sat on it for like 3 weeks. They thought about it, talked to their managers, the owners and all, because I think they have like 4 locations. And they came back and they're like, yeah, we're moving forward with you guys.
Damn.
And when I went to go deliver
the other competition
to the manager, no, they weren't there. I went to go deliver to the manager. I was like, so what do you think? This is nice. She's like, yeah, we already have this one, the other salt, but yours just pops. Like, we like your branding, we like your color, we like your bags. Like, this catches people's attention. Right.
So the marketing,
we're excited for it. Yeah, exactly.
Question: does the other, and excuse my ignorance, the other bag, do they come from France as well?
Yeah. Okay. It comes from France as well.
And they're probably getting down and fighting with each other in France right now, like the farmers.
For real. There's a lot of salt. They produce tons and tons per year. You know. But I'm sure eventually
that's cool, man. And I'm sure, like, obviously, like you being a customer for them out there, you're helping them out as well. Like, you're their U.S. connect, you know? Just thinking if there's no one else, you know. But I don't know if they distribute to anyone else here.
Yeah, no, they're pretty happy with it, and it's crazy because they're not taking any new buyers either. They told me the other day, they're like, yeah, we're set. We're not taking any new buyers. So
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it's working.
Exactly. Yeah.
Brian, question for you. So here's what I'm gathering, and I feel like asking you after this, like, dude, what are we gonna sell next, right? Because you saw the salt, you saw an opportunity, demand and supply. So supply and demand. So we got to look at other stuff and do more. But my question is for anybody out there that's doing e-commerce, something similar, whatever. How are you making these conversations happen? How are you making these conversations happen with these owners, whether it's restaurant owners or whatever? How do you do it? Like, do you see this through Instagram? Do you go driving around and like?
So I mean,
what's your plan of attack?
I grew up in the life insurance industry, prospecting in person, going face to face to stores. Right. And a lot of people know me that I used to literally go to Walmart and talk to strangers all the time. So I have no shame, no
fear,
no embarrassment about talking to people.
You're a walking billboard.
Exactly. So what I started doing is I just started going to a bunch of small businesses. So, butcher shops, small organic grocery stores, any type of business that I thought would be a good fit for my product, even like a nutritionist, It's crazy. Like
I saw with Crunch, right? You did something with
with Crunch too. We're partnered up, so they're promoting their Crunch Fitness.
Nice.
Yeah, they we just launched it yesterday. So if you have Crunch, you could literally open up the Crunch app. I'll show you guys actually.
Oh shit!
Sick,
and what South?
And they have deals for their members, right? So if you go to the gym app right here, you guys can see
a
it.
Discount. Yeah. We'll have our girls put it, by the way.
Okay, cool. So it's right there, and you go to deals right here, and look what pops up.
Dang, get 20% off.
Yeah, so they have a bunch of partners, right? That they get discounts too.
That's
nice,
dope.
nice.
So
some collabs.
So mine's the
You're
first
right
one
there.
that pops up right
That's
there.
dope.
That's
So
awesome.
a cool part.
We're gonna add that to our link tree.
They're gonna put it too on their televisions at all 20 gym locations as well.
That's big.
So
that's big, man.
shout out to Christy from Crunch. She's awesome, and also the social media man as well. I'm having a brain fart, but you know who you are.
Yeah,
you know who you are.
Yeah, you know who you are.
You sexy man.
Hey, man, bro, that's not. This is just the beginning because I know you got something cooking with Sprouts as well.
Yeah. So right now that's the thing. So right now I'm working on a lot of the big stores like Sprouts, Whole Foods, to apply to get into their shelves as well. And that's the crazy part is once I get into those,
it's game over.
It's game over because each of those chains has 400 locations, 1,000 locations. So.
And they don't just put you in one city location. They put you
correct. Once you get approved with the
nationwide.
grocery store, they put it in every single store. Yeah.
Question for you. And then let's talk about like the benefits of Self-Prioritization. But Shark Tank, what's good? You gonna
throw it on there? I was thinking about it. Right, I might just for the publicity of it. Right, but as far as wanting another investor, I'm good right now.
You don't need it.
I don't need one. Thank God.
It's good.
I have one person. I have one.
Or you may.
Yeah,
you know, because you know how them sharks are. Like they'll get you. The whole point of it is the network, their connections, and how they can get you into.
You never know.
Quicker. Just throwing that out.
I might go on there just.
Or they might just buy it out.
Yeah, they might want to. That's the thing though. For me, is like I don't see Salt as just one product. Like it says buy Nature's Pantry because Nature's Pantry, I'm planning to do other natural and organic products.
Right.
So I want it to be like a whole lineup of organic products that when people go to the grocery stores, they're like, oh yeah, I know Nature's Pantry. I want to buy that. Exactly.
Gotcha.
It's just like,
distribution.
Exactly. It's like, for like Kroger products, Costco products, they have their own lineups. Exactly. Yeah. So I want to do that with this as well.
It'll be a one-stop shop for you.
Correct.
Kind of like how.
Yeah. I want to make it easier for society to get good, high quality, organic, good food in their system because it's so difficult nowadays. When you go to the store, you have to look at everything and see what's in this. Is this good? Like I was today having some juice with my kids before I came over, and it's like I forgot what brand. I'm not gonna shoot them down, but it was like oh yeah, real fruit juice, right? Look on the back, high fructose corn syrup, and it's like only 6% juice, right? So they misadvertise everything to their customers where you have to really take your time and research, which most people don't do. Most people just see it. Oh, real juice? Okay, cool. It's good. It's healthy. So it's very complicated. Like nowadays, you have to be like a scientist to actually eat good food. Like it's so complicated. So I want to make it simple. That's what I want to do.
I love that. I love that. And I got to say, as someone that watches what, I eat and all that, I appreciate that. I wish more companies did that. I wish more companies put us first. But unfortunately, they're choosing money or whatever it is for other reasons. So I love the fact that that's the vision for Nature's Pantry because then we can, in a way, relax.
Right.
Like, all right, I don't have to freak. I know Brian and his vision. I can trust that this is actually clean.
Exactly.
And I ain't got to do all the research and Google what's that. Is like, this is cool.
Correct.
I like that, bro. I like that.
Yeah, man.
What
we need it. We need it. This world.
Yeah,
needs
I agree. Before asking you like what else is coming in that umbrella, can you talk a little bit more of the Salt? I know you kind of touched on, like benefits, like what.
Let's touch on those benefits.
Yeah, like what can for the people that are curious.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have you guys on the podcast. I'm gonna have you guys put up that little picture that shows all the benefits of it.
We'll do that. And
I'll go ahead and read it off right now.
Sure.
I want to actually read it so they can line up with the photo. Let me just pull it up
for sure. Let's get it.
Yeah. So again, let me talk about the background of the salt. So the reason why it's called Celtic sea salt or salt is because the part of France where it comes from, the Celtic people used to be there. They settled down about 1,500 years ago, like over 1,000 years ago. And they started making and harvesting salt there traditionally. And that ground where it comes from, it has clay that has super high mineral content. So that's why it has magnesium, it has potassium, it has zinc in it. All these basically minerals that help our bodies function better. It has that in it because of the clay ground. And so they started harvesting it in a way that was, of course, natural. Because back then they didn't have machines and things like that. And so the farmers that are in that area, they've kept it natural for all these generations. Like,
good for them.
It's actually like, I think it's illegal for them to change it up and like to make it different.
I like that.
That's good.
So just if you guys don't know, the salt is actually organic.
It's not processed.
It's organic. Actually, in France, it's called Nature and Progress, which is France's level above organic. So this is more organic than anything here we have in the country. We just haven't labeled it organic because we have to go through the whole FDA crap, which we will, right? But it is organic. It's very, very healthy for you. Okay. Gotcha. So now as far as the benefits, let's talk about it. So health benefits first. So this salt, it has a higher mineral content. So because of that, it has an actual lower percentage of sodium. So it has only 18% lower sodium than regular salt. Almost 20% lower sodium.
That's big.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. And that's why it doesn't fuck up your blood pressure so much, right? And also because it is all natural, your body actually processes it correctly. The salt that's processed, your body doesn't take it the right way. It actually rejects some of it. That's why it causes blood pressure spikes and all that stuff, because it's not natural for you.
It's processed.
It's processed, exactly.
I didn't know all this.
Our body reacts differently. It has 82 trace minerals in it. So like I talked about, magnesium, potassium, zinc, iron, has a lot of minerals in it. So that's really important because a lot of salts, even sea salts, don't have all those minerals in it. So you could buy regular sea salt, but you're not getting the same mineral content. It's hand harvested, which means it's harvested. It takes about 1.5 years to make the salt. So like literally they bring in the ocean water from the sea and they filter it through these pipes and they get it into the little salt marshes. And right there, literally just through the sun evaporating the water over time, letting more water in, evaporating
Is that why it gets that texture, that look? Like
the gray.
Yeah,
the gray comes from the clay ground where it's harvested from. And that's why this is the only gray salt in the world, right? There's like black salt, there's red salt, there's pink salt, which, by the way, pink salt is not even sea salt. Did you guys know that?
No. Educate me.
I was under the impression that all salt came from the ocean. Yeah, so I didn't know. Are you saying
some salts are actually mined from mountains?
Mountains, okay.
Yeah, so
like the Himalayan mountains.
Exactly. So that's why it's called Himalayan salt, because it's not from the ocean directly. It's actually mined from the mountains. Like deep down, they have a bunch of salt reserves, basically, which was said to come from oceans millions of years ago. But also because of that, because it's been mixed with like mountains, it has other heavy metals in it.
Some residue.
Comes from Pakistan and China, so the sourcing is not as clean. That's the thing. That's the difference maker.
Good to know.
Well. Yeah, definitely. On top of that, this has it's no additives, so we don't add any chemicals to it. We don't add any bleaching content. It's 100% like literally from the salt marsh to your bag. To your product, you know?
The way it looks coming out is the way it looks you getting it.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't machine dry it. It doesn't go through any machine drying or anything like that. So it's 100% natural. Yeah, it's hand harvested. It's literally a guy. That's why I have the guy in the front, right?
Show him right there.
Let me pull this up. By the way, I brought these shirts for you guys, right?
Hey.
So
there it is.
this is for you guys.
Was
just
that
supporting
you,
me from
bro?
day one.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Right here.
That's the lean version.
So
of you.
let me see here.
it.
Can you guys see it? Okay, so so that guy right there, he's literally harvesting the salt from hand, by hand, basically. So this is actually for Marlon right here, right? Thank you guys.
This is an extra large.
That's a large. And this is for my brother right here, Vic.
Let's go. Salt, dog.
Damn. Okay, appreciate it. Hey, but this is a nice color, man.
Yeah, thank you.
I gotta say, Brian, you look good in this picture.
Thank you.
Definitely. Hit
I was a little darker in that picture, you know.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
You're working. That's why you're in the field.
For real. And as you guys can see, the coarse salt, thicker one, it's called coarse. It's actually moist because that one is literally, it doesn't go under any grinding. So it's literally like the most natural salt you can have. It like that moisture is literally seawater, which is higher mineral content. Yeah. So yeah.
Sprinkle it on the steaks.
Correct. So the way you want to use it, guys, because people always ask me like, how do we use this salt? Is it bath salt? No, it's literally you replace any salt that you have.
Look like
it looks like bath salt.
Right.
Yeah, you replace your food salt, like your table salt. Replace that right away. Mother's Day's coming. Make sure your moms replace their salt. Right. Don't let them keep eating that junk salt.
It's gonna spike up their blood pressure.
Yeah.
Well, true story. Like he's saying, the bath salt contributes to high blood pressure, diabetes. So this is a cleaner, safer salt. And we'll get into pricing in a little bit because I want to touch on that too. Because if we're already paying X amount for the pink Himalayan or whatever, and this is the same price, if not a few dollars more, but it's way better quality and it's going to keep us all healthier. It's a no-brainer.
And we got a promotion running for you guys too, 20% off.
Yeah, so MarVic, by the time you guys see this, yeah, it's 20% off. All you got to do is go to salts.com, or you can go to the Salt Salt Instagram, click the link in the bio. We're also on TikTok Shop. We're also on Walmart.com, so you guys can look it up, Salt Salt, and type in MarVic 20, and you'll get 20% off.
There it is. Boom. You're welcome.
Yes. Yes. So as far as
we care about you guys' health, we want to bring it to you guys at a discount.
And also, okay. Then maybe Clifton wanted a shout out for.
So as far as the health benefits, another thing too, right? So I talked to this nutritionist. So this guy, he's a big proponent. He actually bought over 100 bags. Like, he got super hyped up. He's selling it to every customer. So he's a nutritionist. He's been doing it for 20 years. And the crazy part is this guy's 75. He looks like he's 55. So he's been taking care of himself.
Yeah, he's in good shape.
He's in great shape. And he said, yes, he speaks, I think he's a Persian or something like that. So I don't want to copy his accent.
Yeah.
But he's like, yes, you need to consume more salt. I tell every customer, he says, I tell every customer every day they need to add more salt to their diet. Why is that? Because salt, number one, it helps you with your stomach acid. So
that's good.
So
I suffer from that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I get bloated.
Oh, crap.
Bad.
Give him some salt right now.
So let's throw some more salt in your water.
Yeah.
So hydrochloric acid, which is the acid that's in your stomach, hydrochloric is from chlorine, right? Or chloride, not chlorine. Chloride, sodium chloride is salt. So if you add more salt to your diet, it helps your stomach acid be stronger, so you can actually break down the food and get nutrited from the food properly. Because a lot of people, they don't eat enough salt, so their body can't even break down their food in their stomach, and it's not getting absorbed, right? So that's one thing. Another thing that he said is basically with your nervous system. So all your nerves in your body, they have a function where they need sodium to function properly. So if you're not intaking enough sodium into your diet, and I've read this from the Salt Fix doctors, this is not coming from me. I'm not a scientist, by the way, guys. And I'm not giving medical advice either. This is just
Dr.
information.
Lizama, continue, please.
Information I'm sharing here. So it's your nerves, like your nerves that go from your brain to your body, they all require sodium. So if you don't have enough sodium, it even messes up with your bodily functions and even your joints too. If you have joint pain, add more salt. That's supposed to help you out as well. So there's a lot of benefits. You guys can look it up, do some research. It's something that's amazing, basically. I don't say it's like a cure for anything, but it basically enhances your life.
This video that you saw, do you want to mention it for our people, our viewers that?
Yeah, so you guys can look up Dr. Barbara O'Neill. She's on TikTok, she's on Instagram, or on YouTube. She talks a lot about healthy alternative products to heal people, because today's industry is all about medicine, giving you a drug that's not really going to heal you. It's going to fix your symptom, but it's not going to heal you.
Right. It's going to get you addicted to the drug. And
well, it might heal that particular issue, but it'll cause another one.
Exactly. Right? And we'll get to that subject later when I bring up the next product.
Yeah,
which
you can do at any moment.
Yeah. Since we're on that note, obviously you got this new project you're about to launch as well, which is gonna benefit a lot of people.
Yeah, man. So
in the health.
Yeah, thank you, man. So this is something that it's been crazy. I've been working on this for about the same time as the salt as well. So it's been about 8 months that I've been working on this.
Was this an idea that came about as well?
Similar time, no? So similar time. So I had a friend of mine. He introduced me to this doctor who's a homeopathic doctor. He does like oncology. He deals with cancer patients and things like that. And basically homeopathic means that they work with natural medication, right? And he's a Mexican, so shout out to Mexicans, right? Cinco de Mayo was on Sunday.
I thought homeo for a second into he only works with homies, but
homeopathic. Right. That's right. And then so I met this doctor and he showed me this medication. It's a homeopathic medication, which means all natural. So it has no artificial chemicals in it. It's all natural. Which, by the way, the FDA doesn't approve any drugs that don't have drugs in them. So anything that's all natural or homeopathic, the FDA doesn't mess with.
Damn. So
can you believe that?
They're not for us.
I can't believe it because they're not for us.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a business, and the health industry. It's a billion.
It's a bad business.
Yeah, it's a $1 billion business, and obviously, it's just crazy how it works, man. And we could probably jump on this, but it's like I feel like our government obviously wants us to be unhealthy, right? Because the more unhealthy we are, the more drugs they could sell to us.
Well, you don't ever hear the government telling people to stop ingesting sugar. We're all sick off of sugar.
Yeah.
What do you eat every holiday?
I mean, cancer. It's the main variable for cancer is sugar.
Wow, that's exactly.
It's like we say this all the time, but we consume McDonald's, and I was actually just talking to my girl about this because the other day she was like, "Oh, I want some fries from McDonald's."
Yeah.
But she looked at me because we don't consume McDonald's at all. Like my little sister, Melanie, doesn't consume McDonald's, none of that. But the reason being is because if you pull up to the main drive-through there, it'll tell you that their products is known to give you cancer.
Oh yeah, Proposition 65.
Right. Warning. So it's kind of like it's there. So why would I eat something that
knowingly it's gonna hurt you?
It's gonna hurt me.
Exactly.
Right. So it's just crazy. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, no, it's everywhere, man. And that's another thing too, is like back then I think cancer was 1 out of every 4 people was gonna get cancer. Now it's 1 out of every 2. Right. So it's just been going up, skyrocketing. And so this doctor introduced me to this medication that he came up with that actually helps cancer patients not cure cancer. Okay. 'Cause we're not gonna do that. I'll be dead somewhere, right? If we talk about curing cancer. But this medication, what it does is it helps cancer patients when they go through. You guys ever seen somebody like go through that dwindling process when they have cancer? Like somebody starts to get super skinny, they lose all their hair and all that.
Lose their hair, yeah. My neighbor, Jacob, young kid, he got it at a very young age. He went through the whole process. He had leukemia. He survived. But yeah, I seen him as a little boy go through all that process, the losing of the hair, the chemo, all that.
It's really
tough.
Horrible.
Yeah,
horrible.
Tough.
So there's a doctor, to tell you about his backstory. So one of his best friends' daughters had cancer, and he was trying to help her because she wasn't able to eat anything while she was on chemo and radiation. So imagine, like, you have cancer, and then you can't eat anything. And
your body needs
you to eat so you can nutrate yourself
and fight.
So you can fight, so your immune system could actually work. So imagine you're already sick. They're putting in these chemicals in you that are lowering your immune system, that are literally killing your cells in your body, and you're not bringing in anything to support your body. You're going to die faster. And that's what happens. A lot of people, I've seen one of my aunts, she passed away like 8 years ago, and she literally went from like a normal, healthy looking person all the way to like a skeleton.
Right.
Unfortunately, she passed away. Why? Because when you start taking radiation and chemo, now this doesn't happen to everybody, but for a lot of people, the biggest symptoms they get is nausea and vomiting. So you can no longer eat. So all food pretty much tastes like crap, and you can't even hold it down. So these guys try to eat, and they try to force themselves, and they can't do it. And so that kills you faster, basically. So this medication, what it does is it targets your stomach, and it targets your brain, your nervous system. So it basically negates that effect. So that way you're able to eat, and you're able to nutrate yourself while you have chemo and radiation. And so you're able to fight cancer a lot better, basically.
And so it takes like the nausea away.
Takes away the nausea and vomiting. So that's the majority. And other things as well, like body aches. It helps out with a lot of detoxifying and things like that.
What's the name of this product here?
So did I bring it? No, I didn't bring it. It's called Prequim. Prequim, yeah. PREQUIMM. And the website you guys can look into it is www.mediaidrx.com.
Now, Brian, is it like 1 pill a day, 2 pills? Or?
So the way it works is that the reason it's called pre-quim is because pre-chemo. It's like the doctor's Mexicano, right? So he said in Spanish, chemo's with a Q. So that's why he put pre-quim. So basically, if you're going to take chemo or radiation the day of, you take it 2 hours before your radiation or chemo. And you take basically 2 pills every 15 minutes for 2 hours. So basically, you're taking about, I think you're taking about 16 pills 2 hours before your treatment, basically. And they're tiny little pills, and they dissolve in your mouth, basically. So you're supposed to leave them under your tongue. Okay. So you take those, and then you take your chemo, and then after that, you take 2 pills every 4 hours for the next 5 to 7 days. And what that'll do is it'll keep away the nausea, it'll keep away the vomiting, keep away a lot of the side effects from the chemo or radiation, so you can function normally. So you won't be bedridden, you won't be as sick, right? Now, of course, it affects everybody differently, right? And there's not medical advice I'm giving you. There's a homeopathic medication, right? So
you can do your own research.
Do your own research, speak to your doctor, etc.
Which your doctor probably doesn't want you to know this.
Correct.
He wants you to, be on the prescriptions.
Yeah, and here's the thing. So the medication they currently prescribe for those nausea and vomiting, it's a drug that is highly recommended, yet it doesn't work. So they tell people, oh, if you have nausea and vomiting, take this drug. I'm not going to say the name. And it doesn't even work. And that drug causes other heart problems and other side effects.
Sure.
So
it's like slowly killing
So
them
this
as well.
is technically the only product designed specifically for chemo and radiation patients to take while they're going through their therapy. So this doesn't, by the way, this doesn't interact with any other drugs that they're taking. It doesn't negate any of the effects. It doesn't counteract anything else that your doctor recommends you. So because it's homeopathic, it's very safe.
Now, Brian, I'm just top of my head, I'm thinking of a question here that I'm thinking people may have. Obviously, to get prescription drugs, it's very expensive. What's the price range we're looking at here for a bottle or
so
pill?
Basically for a bottle, okay, it's 100 pills in a bottle. It's a small bottle, 100 pills. That'll last you about 2 chemo sessions. Okay, so if you're doing 2 chemo sessions, you'll need 1 bottle. If you're doing 4 or 6, you're gonna need multiple bottles. Right now, we're actually doing a sale online on MediateRx. It's $74.99 per bottle. Okay, which typically medication like this costs hundreds and hundreds of dollars, right? I decided to do it at a better price so it's affordable for people. And I've actually seen people that have taken it, and I've seen the actual results. So I'll give you a quick story if that's cool.
Yeah, actually, that was my side where I'm thinking, well, what kind of studies can you maybe point us to? And then the story of his friend's daughter, so she ended up taking the Prequim.
So the thing was that so because she already was like late stage, he wasn't able to find it in time, and that was what kept him up at night. Like, I gotta make something to help other people.
That's what gave him more purpose.
Correct. And a couple years later, he did it, and he actually got cancer at one point. His wife actually got cancer at one point, and thankfully they both survived. So
they use Prequim.
Yeah, they use it as well.
So they're a product of the product.
Correct. And I'll tell you guys, so I've helped out a few. So the doctor, this has been around for over 14 years, this medication, okay? But he hasn't been able to get it out there, and that's what I want to do. I'm getting it out there.
Do you need a license for this or
no?
Okay.
Okay.
Because the FDA, right? You're not
okay. So this medication is actually homeopathic, is registered with the FDA, has a national drug code number, so you can buy it over the counter legally, all 50 states.
Now, your role in all of this is like, I'm seeing the connection, if I'm wrong, but now that you like found this thing with Salt and e-commerce, like, is your role here like pretty much doing the marketing and the e-commerce for him?
So basically, I'm going to be an exclusive distributor of the product, so
makes sense.
Getting it out there. Yeah,
that's good. Partnership.
That's what I was, thinking at the beginning. Like, at this point, we just need to find products that we can like flip and stuff. So
correct.
That's awesome though. That's even.
It's good, man. It's a game changer in just people's lives, and a lot of people are gonna benefit from all this, just the health and.
Yeah, I'll tell you one of the stories of the people we've helped out so far. So the doctors helped out hundreds and hundreds of people with this, right? It's been. You can look up MediateRx.com. We have a lab test and all that stuff, the safety profile. So it was crazy. So one of my actual life insurance clients, she came in, right? And she had cancer. So she was wearing the cap and everything. She had gone bald. And she was coming in for a policy change. Okay. And she told me she was battling chemo. She had been on chemo for 1 year. Okay. 1 year on chemo, once a week, every week for 52 weeks. Imagine that. Okay.
That's intense.
She lost a lot of weight. And I said, how are you doing with the eating? She's like, I don't eat for a whole week. So every time she takes chemo, she only eats after the 6th day. That's when she's able to get the stomach to actually keep her food down. So she was already giving up hope. She was getting pretty bad and doing it every single week. So that's when I said, luckily I had just started, I had started the business with the doctor and everything. So I said, you know what, I have something for you. Would you be interested in trying out? And I said, the whole point of this is to allow you to eat while you're doing chemo. And her face lit up, man. Like, she got so happy, so hopeful. She's like, whatever it is, I get it right now. Yeah. And so I gave her 2 bottles. She bought those 2 bottles off of me. I gave her a discount, of course. And right away, she started being able to eat again. She started being able to do a lot better. And she went from chemo once a week to, I think, once a month. So I believe her situation's been improving.
That's good.
So I legitimately have a good friend of mine who his dad is going through chemo right now. Okay. Literally, I mean, it's the story like you said with everyone it's the eating. The chemo kills you. People don't want to eat. And that's, his story is that, hey, my dad's not eating. We're trying our best, but he's not keeping anything down. So this is very timely, and I'm going to put him on. And, after this, we can talk more about that. But this is huge because, again, cancer is going after your body. If you don't feed your body, your body can't fight it. So you end up dying. Yeah. Right. But if you can get food in there, you can survive. You can beat this.
Gives you hope.
Man,
as the minimum.
Yeah.
As gives you more life.
Yeah, exactly.
As I'm listening to you speak, man, I can't help but think, but like, and I'm trying to put my words here together for you here, but it's like God took you out of a situation for a bigger purpose.
Yeah, no,
that's the way I'm viewing it right now. It's kind of like if whatever happened over there in your situation, the financial, if it didn't happen, these people wouldn't be benefiting for their health, right? So it's kind of like there was a blessing and a curse, or there's a blessing in disguise. There we go. That's
blessing in disguise.
It's a blessing in disguise, man. And that whole situation that you went through, man, just kind of gave you more vision, gave you more purpose. You're healthier. Like one thing I've noticed, man, from 7 months to now, it's like you look happier, you look stress free, you look healthier, you're in the best shape of your life. So it's like there's always a purpose, man. I feel like God is using you right now for a bigger purpose. Yeah. Like, hey, you did great here, but what you may think it's a loss right now, I promise you, I'm gonna bring you here, and you're gonna impact more people.
100%, bro. 100%.
And
it's like 10x basically.
Yeah,
or probably a million x.
Can they, Brian, purchase this with their health insurance card, or is it just
as of right now? So here's how it works, right? So it's an over the counter, which means anybody could buy it, no matter what your situation is. You can buy it.
And how's the supply on it, by the way? Like,
we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in the works of getting a lot of production going right now. That's why I haven't launched it. This is the launch right here, right? We have a lot of production of bottles coming in, so we have supply ready to go. And as far as the insurance, right? So insurance companies, they offer something, I forgot what it's called, if it's HSI or something like that. Well, basically what it is every insurance company gives you health insurance gives you a certain dollar amount. I believe it's like $200 a month that you can use to buy over-the-counter medication. So they can use that to purchase the salt.
And it's going to be much cheaper.
Yeah.
Than anything.
And I mean, it's literally $74 a bottle. And if they buy 2, they get a discount. If they buy 3 or 4 or 5, the more they buy, we give them a discount, because we know people that are going through cancer, they're probably going to have a lot of radiation or a lot of chemo sessions. So we give them a big discount when they bundle and they buy multiple bottles.
Good for you guys.
Can we do a MarVic promo for this one too?
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, I'm playing with you.
That's funny.
No, we'll definitely help promote that, man. I think obviously just listening to you here, it's a product that it's going to benefit people, and that we believe in it already.
Yeah, no, and it's crazy because when I ran into the doctor and everything like that, and I went through a hardship last year, with the whole business and everything. Like literally, guys, making $500,000 a year to having to sell your stake into that. I worked for that company for 12 years. Like it
could be depressing, man.
Yeah,
and
it was tough.
If you don't mind me asking, like, how did you hold down strong?
Just God, faith in God. Like I knew God was doing. Like I knew that my exit wasn't for any of my own wrongdoing. So it was like He forced me out. Like he gave me no option. Like I knocked on all the doors I could to stay, and He literally said, "No, you don't belong here with these people.
Your
with
time
this,
is up.
with
Yeah,
this
your
thing."
time's up. Your purpose.
Yeah, like there was literally no option to stay, and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna leave it up to you, God." And I remember having the conversation with the doctor, and dude, I literally cried because I figured out, like, whoa, this is why God pulled me out of that company, because He had something for me to help a lot more
Impact
people.
more people.
Exactly. And to this day, like, I'm so busy, man. I'm a father of 4. I already have the salt business going, and I almost don't even have enough time. I'm making time, right? But it's just like, I really don't have to be doing this extra business, but I'm doing it because literally I know this is going to change a lot of people's lives,
If I may, and if you don't mind, I don't think we were planning on this, and we can jump into the third topic in just a little bit. But right now, just hearing you say you being a father of 4, and we're not talking about like your oldest is how old?
My oldest is 7.
7, and your youngest is a few
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think this is good because I'm sure we've got a lot of single dads or or maybe not, right? They're married and they've got maybe just 1 or 2 kids.
Yeah.
You've got 4. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
got 4.
and you've got 2 businesses for now. And how are you doing it? Like, what kind of tips would you? And I'm sure I can, think of some, but I want to hear it from you. Like, what works for you? What's helping you stay focused and manage balance?
So a big thing is, first of all, you got to be positive, right? Like, you can't
attitude.
Yeah, your attitude's got to be great. I think number one is, like, my biggest strength is God. Like, I'm gonna tell you guys, my biggest strength is God, because
Amen.
I always pray about this stuff, and I'm like, God, if this is what you want me to do, I'm gonna do it. Like, I don't want it to be my will, let it be your will.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what it is. And it's crazy because I went to church 2 Sundays ago, and I met this guy named Charlie Ward. He was a Heisman winner for the NCAA football. He won the Heisman for Florida State University, the Seminoles, and he went on to play. He was a dual sport athlete. He was getting drafted for the NFL first round. He was also getting drafted for the NBA first round.
Oh, wow.
Beast.
Right?
Just a freaking athlete.
Yeah. And I was like, and that's how I feel. Like, I'm handling 2 separate businesses, and I'm just like, can I do it? And he literally said, he literally went from playing football to now he went to the NBA to play with the New York Knicks. And then he mentioned about how Michael Jordan was a dual sport athlete. He played baseball and basketball. I was like, all right, if there's any more signs that I need, like, I got
Sanders
it.
as well.
I got it. And then that's what I told myself, all right, God, like, okay, I can handle it. With your strength, I can handle it. But as far as, so yeah, guys, that's the most important thing. If you guys don't believe, look more into it.
To faith.
Amen.
More into faith.
Faith. Yep.
That's more important than anything here on this earth.
It centers you in a sense, and there's
All right, and then other tips I would say is, as far as time, I've learned to live a little bit of a balanced life now. So before, my mindset was just grind, ignore your family, ignore everything else, just stay in a bubble. But now I've learned to have more balance. So it's like, okay, cool. So I schedule myself properly now. So now typically I invest in myself first, right? Because you can't pour anything out if you don't pour into yourself, right? So spiritually, I pour into myself. Physically, I hit the gym at least 3-4 times a week because I have to be physically good. If I don't work out, I feel flat. I feel less energy, right? Yeah. So this helps me have more energy, which I need.
You're Salt Bay now, so you got it also.
Exactly. Yeah. Thankfully, the salt too, it helps out. It helps out a lot of stuff, guys. We'll talk about that another time.
Yeah.
Probably even like sexual performance. It helps out. So if you guys want an edge, get on there.
It helps the blood stream.
Yeah, it helps the blood flow. It helps your blood pressure.
30%. Studies show that you last.
That's funny.
Yo, Brian.
Time.
Sorry to cut you off right here, bro. But as I'm listening to you, one of the things that I'm learning for myself is putting myself first, because obviously I'm still in the insurance industry, and there's times where I'll put a client before myself, where it's kind of like I'm going off their schedule. Yeah. Where it's kind of like, okay, wait, I'm in control here. Like, the same way I value their time, they should value my time.
Correct.
And if we had an appointment at 12 and now you want to schedule it for 4 p.m., I shouldn't be so quick to be like, oh yeah, I'm available. Yeah. Like, you know what? Hey, I gotta learn how to stay to my schedule.
Commit to your schedule.
Because there's things that I want to do too, like hit the gym and go for a run.
Yeah.
But because I'm putting the client first, because I want to make that sale, I'm losing myself.
You're sacrificing yourself.
I'm sacrificing myself. So I love that you're touching on that there, because it's a reminder to myself, like, hey, you know what? This was the schedule, and it's not bad to reschedule that client. For me, it's the fear of loss. Oh man, the client wants to buy right now. If I don't sell it right now, they're not gonna buy.
Right.
But it's kind of like, if I put myself first and I stay true to me, if that client is really serious, they're gonna reschedule, and we're gonna follow through with that appointment, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm learning how to deal with.
It's very important. It's very important, because if you always bend over for everybody else, at the end of the day, you're not holding yourself up properly. You gotta put yourself first.
It's that self-respect.
Yeah, exactly. You can't give what you don't have. So if you don't respect yourself, it's complicated.
So this is for all my clients. Y'all reschedule on me. I'm putting myself first. I'm hitting the gym.
That's right.
Yeah. So faith. I'm at time management.
Scheduling. So balancing. Yeah. So balancing means like, okay, I have time for the gym. I have time for my food. Because I used to eat like shit. I would eat at 10 o'clock at night. I would sacrifice my eating because, I'm hustling. Now it's like, no, I take my lunchtime at 1 or 12, whatever. Fasting helps too. And he skips meals on purpose sometimes. And then I spend time with the family too. So guys, one thing too that I learned last year, I lost my grandpa, right? October 17th.
That's my birthday.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
That's
October
crazy.
17th.
Yeah, that's wild. My son's birthday is the 18th, so he's the day after you.
Shit.
Yeah.
So
I lost my grandpa, right? And I thankfully I got to spend the last year really getting to know my grandfather. You know, like I got to hang out with him. I got to, get into guns with him. We went to the gun shop together, and like this guy, he was dialysis, cancer, all this stuff going on, but we were still, doing things. Our last conversation was like, hey, we're gonna go to the shooting range before he died. We talked about that, And I'm just grateful I got to spend that time with him, because before I would just be like ignoring family, like, oh, when I get rich, I'm gonna have time. But dude, your family might not be here. Right. When you have the wealth, your family might be gone already. So I enjoy family time. So I make time every day for my kids, if weekends, things like that. So I've learned to balance out my schedule where I'm living a little bit more of a balanced life, trusting that God's gonna put everything in the right path, that I don't have to overexert basically. But I am freaking grinding. Like literally, sometimes I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. That's when I get my best ideas. So it's not like, oh, you don't have to grind. Like, no, I'm sometimes I have like no time for it.
Or even if you're just laying in bed with your eyes closed, an idea pops up and you're like, let me write this down.
Yeah.
Because that's how my brain operates. I'll just like lay there, eyes closed, and then ideas just start popping up. Yeah. I'll write it down. Reminds me of this meme that I think you sent us, like a chihuahua, and he's like, with one eye open. It's like, oh my, I just got an idea.
Business owners at 2 a.m. getting a business idea.
Yeah, because your mind is working. Like, even though you're trying to sleep, your mind is operating like, okay, what's the next move? How can I do this? Oh, you know what? I could have corrected a mistake here. Yeah, man.
And another thing too is like, here's another thing for people that want to start a business, right? Take every opportunity you can. Take every shot you can. Like remember when you introduced me to the Hawaii Salud, right?
Yep.
So thank you, Vic. Vic was like, hey man, I was delivering salt to him and the lamb. And he's like, hey, want to get some coffee? And then I have a store next door close by. I want to introduce you to them. He's like, I know the owner. It's like a water store, and they sell natural products. I was like, sure, let's go. And we went and met the owner, Luis. Shout out to Luis.
Yeah,
and,
good guy.
Cool. He's really cool beans. And he was like, yeah, meet me at Downey. And he has 2 locations. So through him, he taught me a few things. So connecting with people, is a big deal.
And just genuine people, guys, that people that really want to see you win.
Yeah.
Because Luis, I could tell he's just a genuine cat.
Yeah.
He's Mexicano también. Yeah. He has his small business. And for him to do that, to teach you, he doesn't have to do that. But you know what? He has a genuine interest in your success.
Yeah. And one lesson I learned, guys, is that nothing is a waste. A lot of us young people, we think, oh, we're wasting our time with this, we're wasting our time with that. A lot of impatience, and I learned this from another guy. He's a business owner. He owns like 50 gas stations or something like that, like very successful.
Shit, that's wealth.
And he's like, I had gone out to Phoenix because he was going to introduce me to distributors for the salt, but it wasn't for salt. It was like for other products. So at the end, I couldn't distribute anything through those distributors. But he said, hey, look, I'm gonna tell you something. He's like, everything that you do when you're starting a business might not work. Some things might feel like it's a waste of time, but just know nothing is a waste of time. Everything is an experience that's going to help you in the future. Right. And what he did is he put me on to 2 distributor events that are going to come up this year that I'm going to go take my salt to. And he told me he used to sell ripe, like sun-dried tomatoes. And that just because he went to one of those events, he connected with a distributor that got him to make millions of dollars. So he's like, we didn't do business now, but I'm putting you on game on this. So he's like, so when you connect with the distributors, don't forget about me.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
that's really good
You cross
advice.
paths with people.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, or whoever told you, the guy that told you, but that's exactly what I was thinking in my head. It's like, it may not be for that particular moment. It can be for, maybe later. So as long as you keep that perspective of, just receiving. And it's funny because God does that all the time, right? Like he'll plant seeds and later it might not grow right now, but that seed there, boom, years later, turns into something. So makes a lot of sense.
I have a question for you, Brian. And my question to you is like, when do you know if maybe you're not in the right opportunity? Like how much time needs to go by where you just tell yourself like, you know what? My skills are here. I do have talent. I believe in myself, but this vehicle isn't working for me.
That's a great question, man. I love that. So that goes for two things, you guys. That goes for go ahead.
So before you answer that question, the reason why I say that because I used to battle myself a lot with that because my mentality was like, nah, I'm not a quitter. I'm not gonna quit. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going. But there comes a time where it's like you're not quitting. You're just transitioning and you're using the skill sets that you learned maybe in a different vehicle.
You might be in the wrong vehicle.
Yeah, you might be in the wrong vehicle. So what's your advice on that?
Yeah, so I know from a lot of entrepreneurs like Elon Musk and other entrepreneurs that most of them, it wasn't their first company that blew up. It was like their third or fourth company that blew up, you know. And it wasn't the same products. It was something different, you know. So this is for two things, you guys. This is for relationships, like girlfriend, boyfriend, romantic, etc., and for business. If you have to force it, it's not for you, basically. So if you feel like you're forcing it and it's not coming to you, it might not be for you, you know. And I'll be real, like in the industry I was in, like I felt like a lot of time I forced myself to be successful. Like I really forced myself. Like I literally went against the grain, went against all odds. And I think that's something you have to do in general, right? You have to go against all the odds. Right. But I felt like I was forcing it. And I got to this one point in my career where I felt like my time that I was putting in wasn't reflecting what I was getting out. And I'm not talking about in the beginning, guys. In the beginning, you have to put in a shitload of work, no results, no nothing to get something going, right? But when I was that momentum. Exactly. But when I was towards the top of my game, right, I felt like my personality and my skills as a leader and the things that for me, from my heart, it wasn't reflecting in my results. And I said, like, I felt something in me told me, like, man, I can do a lot more than this, you know. And I didn't know what, and I didn't ever think I was going to do something different, but I just felt that deep down inside. And then once I left, I'm like, whoa, this makes sense, you know. Clicked. Yeah, it all clicked. You know?
I was listening to Dame Dash. If you guys haven't seen that podcast with Patrick Bet-David, Dame Dash.
Cheers, MarVic cups over here.
Cheers, brothers.
And he says, once I reach a dream, I dream bigger. You know, like once I accomplish a dream of mine, I start dreaming bigger.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like you get to a point in your life where it's like, I could be doing much more. You know, I could be giving more. I could be impacting more. Right. And it's just, I did what I had to do here. It's time to move on. You know, I look at Tom Brady, you know, all right, football, bam. Now he's doing comedy. Now he's the owner of the Raiders or part owner, something like that.
Yeah, part owner.
Hopefully he doesn't come back. Right?
Yeah.
They roasted him for that.
Yeah. I look at a boxer by the name of Andre Ward, you know, stopped boxing, started doing commentating. Now he wrote a book. And, you know, even when he stopped commentating, he said, you know, my time here is over. It's time to do something different.
Correct.
Yeah. So I feel like, you know, with us as well, like, yeah, the insurance industry is great, but, yo, we could have another business here. Like, how much more lives can we impact?
Amen.
You know?
Yeah, I'll throw one in there as well. Going back to your question, especially with us three, and I think we can transition into, you know, our next topic is what you said is keep in tune with God. Like, I think God is
center.
Exactly. He's the foundation, and if you're not sure, pray. If you're not sure, seek, you know, from Him first, because, you know, like your situation, even for me in my life, there's definitely all the time is like, Lord, is this of you? Please provide wisdom on how to move here, how to navigate this. So, you know, discernment. Exactly. Discernment and getting guidance. And, you know, God works in mysterious ways. Sometimes He will tell you, sometimes He won't. And, you know, but don't leave Him out of the equation, because He is Lord 100%. And He wants what's best for us. But on that note, brother, to touch on that third topic, you said two things, you know, for relationships, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, you know, you gave the advice there. But on that note, we talked a little bit on the phone about, you know, this whole idea of being conservative and, you know, in particular, like, you know, giving men
traditional family roles.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's touch a little bit about, you know, that, like, what's on your mind with that whole subject, and
yeah, all right,
you know, why talk about that now?
Got it. Okay. So there's probably an unpopular opinion, right? Unpopular opinion, but we need to go back to traditional family roles, right? What is that typically? Right. It's the man providing and leading the family, right? So leading spiritually, leading as far as discipline, right? And leading financially, right? Taking care of the wife and the kids, basically, right? And the wife basically being that at home. See, the man is the head. It says in the Bible, the man is the head, the woman is the heart, So the woman is like the heart of the home. Like imagine if the woman's not home, that home has no heart, right? So she's the heart. She's the nurturer.
She creates
cooking, like making that home environment where the kids want to come home, where the husband wants to come home to his house, because there's husbands out there that don't want to come home every day, right? I was one of those. Okay, and you know, that's horrible. Like imagine like you're out there battling, building $1 million business, and you don't want to go home at the end of the day.
That should be your safe zone.
That should be your
where you get
safe
to rest.
haven, your peace. Exactly. And I realized that today's society is confused. You know, feminism makes women want to do men things, which is what provide, right? But it's just like, I found it that when women, like, think about this. If society hit reset, no technology, no social media, like everybody was poor, like as far as like opportunities, there was no opportunities, right? And everybody was like at war. We're in the old school times, right? And it was every man for himself. You had to literally go to tribalism, like where it's like, if you walk the wrong way, another man might kidnap you. Another man might kill your tribe and take your wife for his wife, right? What would happen? We would go back to traditional roles. Women wouldn't be trying to fight, men. Women wouldn't be trying to work. They'd be at home taking care of the kids, nurturing. Men would be the ones going out to war, going out to hunt, doing all the traditional man things. And so my opinion is, going back to it, is like society, unfortunately, over the last 70 years has gone through this revolution of feminism, which has made women think they need to work and do the man's job. And therefore now man can't be men and women can't be women, right? Women are forced to be men, basically. And I grew up with a single mom.
Yeah, and also for men, it builds, it destroys confidence, because they're just like, man, I can't provide. Yeah. Or like, my girl makes more money than me, or like shit like that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, dude, like me bringing home $500K a year, buying a dream home, like, you know, doing everything that I did, it felt like it was never enough. So imagine like me trying to provide a dream life. I even had a nanny and everything like that. Yeah. And I felt like I wasn't, she made me feel like I wasn't providing enough, because she was not in her, that type of mindset, you know? It was like more. And I'm just like, damn, like how many women would dream to have something like that, you know, and actually value that, you know? Yeah. And that's when I realized, like, okay, I'm with somebody that's not going to value this family. They're not going to value family. They're not going to value a man that's actually loyal and providing, right? No matter what I do. So it just got to the point where that's why I had to end it. And now I feel at peace, and it's crazy.
You look happier.
Yeah, thanks, bro. And what I've realized is this, okay? Because most of us, we start dating in our 20s. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. Right?
I started in kinder, but
right? Or we start dating early, right? But we take relationships serious in our 20s, right? And we don't even know what the hell we're looking for. We're like, oh, I want a girl that looks bomb. I want a girl that's like this and that. We don't ever think, whoa, what's that woman's psychology like? What is her parents like? Right.
We look at outer.
It's it's funny, bro, because like growing up, my dad would always put me up on game on that. Like, hey, look, if you're gonna get a girl, and this is why I never really made girls my girlfriends.
Good, yeah.
You know, I bro. Not because I had a commitment issue, but because I just didn't see it with them long term.
Yeah.
You feel me? So my dad would always tell me, when you start dating a girl, and if you want to get serious, meet their parents, see what their mother's like, see what their dad's like, because when you get with them, it's not you got to understand that she's been programmed by them.
Correct. Right? You cannot change 20 years of programming.
Yeah, it's their beliefs there. So the way her mom is, just envision her being like that later on.
Yeah.
So my dad would put me up on game on a lot. And he even on the physical look, he's like, if you don't like how her mom looks at her age, just understand that she's gonna be like that too 20 years from now.
And see, that's the thing, Vic. Great job on that, bro. Shout out to your dad, because you know I grew up with my mom, like kind of basically being a single mom. So my dad never, you know, got to talk to me about those things. You know, I love my dad. He, you know, lives with me now, and you know, he's an amazing grandfather. But I never learned those lessons growing up. You know, so for me, I saw red flags, and I was like, I could change her.
And that's the false belief that we fall into.
Yeah. And it's like, you can say, oh, I'm going to be such a good man that she's going to have no option but to be good back. No. If you're with somebody that, you know, they have red flags, they have the wrong makeup from their childhood, they've seen all the wrong stuff growing up, guess what they're going to do? They're going to mirror that. They're going to do that same stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I may play the devil's advocate, I just want to say a few things. Like, I think first of all, I agree, with the viewpoint of like men being the head and women, being submissive and all that stuff. And I just got to say that my call out is for us men, because if the way I view this country and the way I view the history, America is like a land of experiments where there is freedom here. And I'm grateful and thankful that in America, we can experiment with this idea and that idea, something as such as like feminism, right? Where women wanted to be men, if you will. Now we see that
independent,
literally.
basically.
Yeah, but it used to be independent, but now we're even seeing an actual transition on both sides. So I think it started. If I don't know if you've thought about this, Brian or Victor, but I have, and I've thought about where did this start? Because men were in power, and we don't have as much power as we did before. I think we can easily gain it.
Men are emasculated in today's society. If you look at any Disney movie, where are the men heroes? There's no men heroes in any Disney movies. All women heroes. Yeah, and the men are stupid on every show.
Yeah. And I think the root of that, I don't think it's women, actually. So I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I think it's us men. I think we allowed that, and we let women
100%
rise up, and it's like, okay, you think you want to do this, and now look at where things are headed. Correct. Where is the country headed in a good direction or not? So I wanted to say that, and then also I think generally speaking, I think that's great advice from your dad, and I think it's really good to point out that like the mom, dad, like that's where they're gonna come, but there are outliers. I think those are
right. Great point, Mark, and that's
just saying because I've encountered that, and not just. Even in friendships where it's like I meet the family, I'm like, well, I mean, if I may, I believe I'm like that. Like you meet my family, nothing wrong with them, but way different attitudes.
So psychology shows this is that most of the time when people grow up in a certain type of environment, let's say dysfunctional. I think we all come from dysfunctional environments to an extent,
some
right?
Form, yeah.
Yeah. But when you grow up in a certain type of environment, like for example, like an alcoholic, right? I don't know what the percentages are, but it's easier. Sure it's easier for the kids to be alcoholic, maybe 70-80%, right? And what I've read one time is that you're either going to do exactly what your parents did, or you're going to hate it so much you do the opposite. Yeah. See, like in my case, my dad was an alcoholic.
I remember you said that in episode 2.
And that's why I really almost never drink. Like I drink probably like just on occasion, like celebrating stuff or like with family and friends, but I don't drink regularly, and I made that decision because I've seen what it did to my family growing up with my parents with their separation. So either you're going to do the same thing as your parents or you're going to do the opposite. Right. Now, what I've learned is that maybe 20% do the opposite, 80% do the actual same thing. They pass on the same chains and curses. So therefore, the general advice is look at their family because they're probably going to be like that. Is there exceptions? 100%. But don't look for the exception because the odds are against you for the most part.
Sure. You said 80-20?
Yeah, I would say 80-20.
Yeah, no, I mean, and to elaborate, like what my dad had taught me, man, at a young age, and I'm grateful for it, but, he always would use his personal examples. And and what I mean by that, he would compare like my mom and him, and he would say, look, this is where I screwed up. These were my mistakes. Yeah. But this is where you have to take it to the next level. Be better. This is where you got to correct those mistakes and not make the same mistakes that we made as a couple. Exactly. And my dad could pinpoint it from the moment their marriage went south. Like he could tell you when it happened because he knows where the mistakes came about. Right. And one of the mistakes was giving mom more power. Because the moment mom got more power, she didn't know how to control power, got to her head, and it's like, I don't need you. And the moment I don't need you is when I'm starting to downplay you and what you bring to the household.
Value you bring.
And the value that you bring. Yeah. And then it just self-destructs.
It goes back to the Adam and Eve story.
Yeah. So today, my dad's remarried. He's happy. My mom is in the same situation. Always depressed, always saying things like, I want to leave. I want to get away from you guys, live far. but it's understanding that it's not about location. It's about here. You got to fix here first. Yeah. And my mom, not to go on a tangent, but my mom comes from an alcoholic family. Comes from a family of just envy, downplay each other, all that stuff. So there's a lot of programming that my mom needs to, unprogram it and really just heal from all that.
And here's the thing, you guys. So this is the thing, like a little plug for therapy, right? So I took therapy after everything that I went through, and I'm not perfect too. I think we all make mistakes, right? But therapy really helps you realize, like, okay, what's important, what's not important, what you can change about yourself. And one thing therapy taught me was that basically, a lot of people, they go through stuff and they don't ever take therapy, and they stay stuck in that mindset from childhood, their whole adult life. They don't talk it out, and they live in denial, and therefore they can never beat their trauma because they never went to therapy. They never worked on it, basically. And I heard from a friend of mine that his wife went through some trauma, and she went to therapy for 8 years, and thank God she was finally able to beat it with God, with church, and with therapy. And that was like one big trauma she had. So imagine if you have like 2 or 3 or 4 traumas, then you need 20 years, 30 years of therapy, intense stuff. And unfortunately not enough people get that therapy, So I recommend, if you have inner struggles,
I think that's a great point, because I'm thinking about how it's very common, and I know we've said this, I think we've all said this plenty of times, where we say, and it kind of ties into like investing in yourself first, which we were talking about earlier. But I think this is a good, like, detailed example of what you can throw in there when we say, like, work on yourself. I think
it's not just reading a book.
Right, exactly. It's not just going to a conference. It's not just reading a book. It's not just a podcast.
Understanding your trauma.
Therapy. I think therapy is solid. I've also done therapy in the past, and it's just crazy how a conversation, when sometimes a therapist doesn't even say anything, but as you're talking it out, you hear how absurd it sounds. It's like, oh wait, I kind of solved it for myself. And it's just, I don't know, it's the power of talking. And and I mean, even like the Bible talks about like confessing your sins to one another so that you may be healed. Like that's biblical. Right. So I think there is power in, community and I think therapy is great, because if you can have a professional in your corner that can help you navigate through your thoughts, and like you said, you can work through it and beat that and become a better version of yourself and let go of those things that are hindering you or hurting you. And that's also another side of health.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. One thing I learned from my therapist is that the way you break through something is by the more times you tell your story about it. So basically, a lot of people have stories they're keeping inside, whether
accepting what happened.
Yeah, whether it's like rape or whether it's abuse, right? Or trauma they went through, they don't talk about it. They keep it to themselves. And what does that mean is that it has control over them.
Power over them.
Has power over them. But my therapist told me, the more you talk about that trauma and you share it, the more you release it, basically, and it helps you get rid of it.
You're like breaking free. You're breaking through all that.
You're separating yourself from the trauma.
Right.
You're like, it's in you if you don't talk about it, but when you talk about it, now it's outside of you. Now it's like that's something that happened to me versus that's who I am.
Right.
It's crazy.
It's a detachment from like that identity.
I like that.
Correct.
I like that.
Strong.
And that's for me. Like that's why I'm not really afraid to talk about what I went through, because I know the more I talk about it, the more I release it.
You're healing.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you also find other people that have gone through that. And it's like, oh, you did that too, and you get solutions. This is how you got out of it. So very powerful stuff.
Yeah. So you two have done therapy. I personally haven't, but I've been advised.
You do it with me all the time.
Oh yeah,
Martin's
therapist.
Nah, you're not licensed, bro. You're not official.
Therapist.
But I do have one of my sister's friend is a therapist, and I definitely have been thinking about going. And just there's a lot of trauma that I've gone through that I haven't really expressed myself, because there's things that I don't want to remember about my past that I choose not to remember.
Yeah.
But it's reality. It's shit that actually happened. So I definitely gotta make that time and go.
So okay. So something I wanted to share is basically for young men. Basically, young men.
Let's talk about it.
You guys are growing up. You guys are you have dreams. You want to find a partner, right? So I want to give you guys the advice that I never got. That way you guys can not make those same mistakes. So Guys, number one, I read this book. I recommend this book to every single male out there. It's called The Wall Speaks.
Okay.
The Wall Speaks. The author I forgot. You guys can Google it. So basically it talks about like this. Like, look, if you as a man make your woman the center of your world, you don't have a purpose.
Skirt.
So you got to have a purpose that is above your woman because you're always moving forward. If you have the woman above your purpose, then she's on a pedestal and she has control over you. So therefore, chase your purpose first, gentlemen. So a lot of times, like when you get with a woman, you're getting with somebody when you're at a low or you're in desperation. You're at the worst point in your life and you're looking for a girlfriend. Don't do that, right? Build yourself up first.
Discover you.
Yeah, discover you, who you are, what you like, what's your purpose. Therefore, when you find a woman, she's not your purpose. Right. She's part of your world. She's your right or left-hand woman, but you're still chasing your purpose, basically, you know? And that's a big key because the minute you drop that purpose, okay, the book talks about when you make the woman the center and the control and the leader, women, once they're in control, they don't know what to do with it. And it leads to chaos. It can bring a house down so fast. So as a man, keep the control, keep your purpose, keep that dominance.
Like America's falling apart right now.
Fuck, right? It's really bad, right?
We're gonna lose all their female followers.
So I'm gonna give some more tips here, right? So, you know, when you look for a woman, watch out for the red flags, right? Don't ignore red flags, right? So look at her family background, look at her upbringing, right? Was it peaceful? Does she have good relationships with her parents? See, if a girl can't respect her parents, she will never respect you as a man.
Facts.
Right? And another big one, if she doesn't have a big trust in God and she doesn't love God, she can't love you.
Equally yoked.
If a girl can't be committed to God, how's she going to be committed to a man? Which God is way more powerful than any man.
Dang.
Get me? God's got to be in the middle of your relationship. And another thing, too, is build boundaries early. So when you get into a relationship, build boundaries. What are you not willing to accept, right? No cussing, no drama, no drugs,
respect.
no cheating, no violence, no aggressiveness, right? So you have to set your boundaries early and tell her, look, these are my deal breakers. If you cheat, if you get physical, if you get verbal, if you disrespect me, I'm out. Build those boundaries early so that when that woman knows she can't cross that line. And if she crosses that line, you're out. You got to know your value as a man. A lot of men, they go through a lot of unnecessary shit because they don't put that boundary up.
Right.
They say, oh, you know what? And a woman will always justify. Women are the worst at taking accountability. Unpopular opinion, but women always justify whatever they do.
Let me ask you this, man, because something that I've experienced with a friend, I'm not gonna throw any names out there, but what if they hit you with this? What would you tell somebody that says this? I'd rather just deal with it because we have kids and I don't want to lose my kids.
That was me. So
let's talk about it.
Yeah. So what do you want your kids to copy? See, if your kids are seeing a dysfunctional, violent, aggressive, or bad relationship, guess what? That's going to be the normal for your kids. And that's what they're going to chase when they grow up. They're going to look for somebody toxic. Exactly. So it's better for you to get out. If you're in a toxic relationship, get out, be single, find your purpose, men or women, whatever, and focus on being in a healthy relationship. And if you could be in a healthy relationship and show your kids, hey, this is what a happy marriage looks like. This is what respect is. This is what the wife does. This is a wife valuing a husband. This is a husband valuing a wife, right? Because it goes both ways. I feel like, right? It's not just men and women, right? There's a lot of dudes that don't hold their freaking weight either, right? You have to hold your weight as a man. Be a man of your word. Have God in front of you. Have a purpose. Be a fucking hard worker. Be a provider. Do all the things that you need to do to be a man worth having, right? And if you do that, then you deserve a woman that's just going to respect you, that's going to love you, that's going to also take care of the household for you. So if you can, it's better to show your kids a good example. Like, hey, look, this is what healthy relationship looks like.
So would you say it's kind of selfish of one to say, oh, look, I'd rather just deal with it because I don't want to lose the kids, I don't want to lose the house, I don't want to.
I did that for years, and
is it kind of like just like a lie?
It's a lie. It's a lie, and at the end of the day, you're hurting yourself a lot more, and you're disrespecting yourself a lot more by saying, you know what, like basically, if you don't move on, you're telling yourself, I deserve to be treated like shit.
And if I can take a stab at it too, I would say that. So if that question, we're talking about the kids, right? Like, hey, I'm sticking around for the kids, but I think like Brian said, more importantly, yeah, if you stick around and things aren't going the way they should, or they're not getting better, exactly, what are the kids going to see?
Right.
So at that point, it's like you're doing it for the kids, but the kids are just seeing violence, and actually, it's probably better be split. Now, I do want to say this. Yeah. I personally, my opinion on that would be, if there are kids involved, I would say initially do try to work it out. Like, because there are kids, and there's a lot of studies on this, like any split home will have an effect on that child. 100%. So I think, and I think, Brian and I are on the same page on it. Like, definitely try it, like try to work on it. And I think, just like we alluded to just now, like therapy, I think get a third party involved. I think that's major key, because listen, the conflict started between A and B, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is. Obviously, there's tension, there's conflict. Get an unbiased professional third party involved that can kind of referee the situation.
Unbiased is key.
Unbiased is very key. And unbiased, just to give examples, that doesn't mean your best friend, your mom, your dad, because let's be real, like
they're always gonna have your back.
Right. They're all exactly. It's
even if you're wrong, they will be on your side.
Correct. And it's kind of like a situation I'm kind of going through right now, where I brought up to Vic, and I'm like, I chose to bring this situation to Clifton because he's like a neutral ground. So get someone involved, like a therapist, if you have to pay for it, if it's worth it to you, do it. Go from there, because that could work. And if the other person, I think if both parties are willing.
Key. Yeah. If both parties are willing to work on it, then work on it.
Exactly.
But if the other party's not willing to work on it.
Right. If they're not willing, like, hey, listen, we're both, at turmoil here. We can't find a solution. But look, I want to work it out. Can we seek help? If you're both willing to do that and go through the sessions and stay open-minded, and even if it takes months or years, whatever, I think that's also love.
Healthy. Right. That's healthy.
And that is healthy, because love is messy.
It's showing that care,
intent,
that love.
The intent.
And what I want to say, to kind of just piggyback on you right here, is like sometimes you're so consumed in that you don't even know how toxic it really is. You start believing this is the norm. Look, oh, that's just my wife.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just how I am. But when you seek that help and you get that third opinion, it's like, hey, look, this isn't healthy, and this is how this is hurting you. That's when I think you start taking conscience.
A lot of guys
so deep into it.
Yeah, a lot of guys live a life of quiet desperation, because we don't want to tell anybody what the fuck we're going through. We don't want to tell anybody that we have holes in our boat.
It's a manly.
Yeah, exactly. And
but sometimes you can see it.
And if you actually do talk to those people, they'll tell you, like, this is wrong, this is right. You got to move forward. You got to.
This is unhealthy.
And trust me, like, I'm coming from a perspective that I didn't want to ever separate, because I grew up in a broken home. I grew up seeing my parents get divorced, and that's the last thing I wanted. That's why I held on for so long. But it just got to the point where it was like, okay, I gotta go, because at the end of the day, this is not healthy not for me, not for her, not for the kids.
Right. And it's not fair to the kids.
And it's not fair to the kids. Yeah, they gotta see something. They gotta see peace.
And if you tried everything you could and the other party's not.
If the other party's not willing to work on it, then that's when it's like, all right, gotta roll.
Shout out to Art Williams. All you can do is all you can do.
All you can do is all you can do.
But all you can do is enough. And you got to be at peace with that.
And that's the good thing, though, is that if you've tried everything and you have to walk away, you can walk away proud knowing you did try everything.
Right.
Like, you didn't pussy out, you didn't flake out. You're not.
You didn't take the easy route.
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
Like you said, I gave it everything I had, but I can't force this.
Right.
Correct.
So it is what it is.
So that's key. What's another one you got right there?
Oh man.
Well, I was gonna say we should probably.
Yeah.
You got Cliff.
Yeah.
Just hit us with that third one, bro. And
but yeah, I mean, look, if you have to force it, it's probably not real love. And then I would say put God in the center of your relationship, and work on yourself first. Work on yourself first.
Love you first.
Love yourself first, so you have something to pour into. Last one. you shouldn't rely on a woman to make you happy, and a woman should not rely on you to make her happy. So your relationship should not be like this, where you're leaning on each other. It should be like this: two healthy, happy individuals coming together.
Two whole.
Exactly. Amen. It's not better half. It's two whole people coming together to form something beautiful, right?
And
Amen.
actually, the last one is buy some salt. Because that's going to help you improve the quality of your life.
Of your thinking.
So if you really care, like he said, for your moms especially, this Mother's Day.
And if you know somebody that has cancer, mediatorx.com.
Yes.
There it is.
Yeah, we got you guys.
Brother.
Thank you, bro.
Pleasure having you on,
course.
man. I appreciate you coming and sharing this game. Yeah. I hope. Look, man, for our viewers that watch this, don't forget to like, comment. We want to hear your perspective, your thoughts. And if there's anything that you would love for us to touch on, put it on the comment, and we'll make sure to touch on the next episode.
Let's go.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Peace.